The next day, Kyle was in the alleyways of Slag Ravine town. She was disguised as a young gangster woman, so no one would recognize who she was. She looked all around town, leaning on her side against the wall. She wanted to make sure that no one was looking for her, let alone noticing her at all. Once she confirmed that no one was aware that where she was, Cal began to formulate her plan. I figure now this is the time to play around with dear Yua for a while, Cal said to herself. She took out her crystal ball to give her minions a call. Dear my minions, Cal greeted them. Have you found the mysterious cave? We have, dear Cal, one of the minions answered. We have a question for you, though. Cal rolled her eyes again before asking, What is it? What's the plan again? Another of her minions asked. Frustrated, Cal placed her head on her forehead and muttered, You imbeciles! She took a deep breath before calming herself down. We are going to have Yua explore the cave to get me the diamonds, Cal explained. If she succeeds, then I'll give her $100. Her minions looked at their side of each other with confusion. Are you sure about that, boss? One of her minions asked. Besides, where could you get $100? Another minion said. I'm rich, Cal said. Duh. And then she put a stupid look on her face. Another way to mock her minions. Skepticism. Oh, Cal's minions said in illusion. Plus, that will let her build trust with me. And when the time comes, I'll strike her with her friends and family when the time is right, Cal replied. Again, one of the minions said, When will the time be right? Just shut up or I'll turn you into a minion pretzels! Cal groaned in frustration. Meanwhile in the sky, Yua and Apollo were flying in the air, making their delivery to the butcher at the meat shop. See the meat shop, Yua? Apollo asked. Not yet, Yua replied, but it should be around here somewhere. When Apollo looked at his owner, she was focused on her job, and he wanted to ask something that had been on his mind for a while. So what do you think of Slag Ravine? Apollo asked. I think it's wonderful, Yua said. I'm even grateful for Hiroto and his family taking us in. Same here, Apollo replied. Betcha you're going to write your family about your time here, huh? You bet, Yua answered. She then gave her bird a wink. Just then Yua saw the meat shop. And here it is, she said. No sooner than she saw it, she landed softly to the ground. Yua and Hiroto walked over to the meat shop, and when the butcher noticed them walking in the shop, he stopped chopping his meat and turned his attention to the door. Hey there, you must be Yua, Kiki's daughter by the looks of it, the butcher said. Yep, that's right. You wanted some meat cleavers and knives delivered here. Here you are, Bruce Jackson, you asked? Yep, that's me. I'm the owner of the place, Bruce answered as he took the cleavers and knives. Then he signed the receipt on Yua's checkbook. Thanks for the cleavers and knives, Yua. You're welcome, Bruce, Yua said, exiting the meat shop. But before they could leave, they were called by someone. Hey, a voice called. Hey, you. Who's that? Apollo asked. I don't know, Yua answered, but I got a bad feeling about this. Yua and Apollo wondered who was calling them, so they decided to check on the alleyway. There they were meeting a young gangster woman. Hey, this young gangster woman said, you must be that witch who delivers stuff, huh? Yua hesitated for a moment before answering, Yes. Don't be shy, my dear. I'm not here to rob you or anything, the young gangster woman reassured her. I'm just here strolling around. Say, would you like to earn some cash? I guess, but is this a trick to make me do something that can cause harm? Yua asked. This isn't a trick, my dear, and don't worry, it has nothing to do with anything to cause harm. The young gangster woman replied, I need your help with something, and it's something that I'll pay you if you do this favor for me. Should we trust her? Apollo asked his companion. I don't know, Yua said. She's kind of tricky. My thoughts exactly, Apollo stated. She seems very suspicious to me. Let me see, Yua said. We'll just have to be prepared in case if it's someone in disguise. When she was younger, Yua was taught by both her mother and father about not talking to strangers. Since then, she abided with her parents' warnings and vowed that she would never associate herself with strangers, even if they seemed like normal people. Without a moment to waste, Yua said, Alright, what do you need help with? Well, young one, you see, in the mines of Slag Ravine, I need your help by getting the diamonds up here for me. The young gangster woman answered, I have a bad back and I hurt myself the other day. It shouldn't be too hard to do. Where can I find the diamonds, miss? Yuwa asked. They're in the mines of Slag Ravine, and I'll take you there, the gangster woman replied. If you do this for me, I'll pay you $100. She's bribing, eh? Apollo said to Yuwa, seeing the money in her hands. It appears so, Yuwa whispered. I'll say we play it by ear. She folded her arms and then asked the gangster woman if she was sure about the bargain. Are you sure about that? Yuwa asked. Yeah, I'm sure, the gangster woman asked. And yeah, I'm sure. You think I was living under a rock? Yuwa and Apollo looked at each other with suspicion and confusion in their eyes. After a few seconds, Yuwa said, All right, show us the way. Very well, the gangster woman said. Follow me. Little did they know that gangster woman know Yuwa had her fingers crossed behind her back, cause she would really try to pull an attack on the duo. When the gangster woman led Apollo and Yuwa to the mines in Slag Ravine, the witch and the bird weren't really sure if this was a really good idea. Are you sure that this is the right one? Yuwa asked. Yes, it is, dear. Just bring the bag full of diamonds up, the gangster woman instructed, and once it's full, bring it back up here to me, and you'll get your reward. As Yuwa and Apollo listened to what the gangster woman instructed, they headed down towards inside the mine. It was dark and dirty, but Yuwa had a lantern with her, so it was to brighten the area around herself and Apollo. Yuwa, Apollo said, don't you find something a little bit off of that woman? Yeah, Yuwa replied. She looks very suspicious. Tricky, even. I don't even understand why she needed those diamonds in the first place, Apollo said. Like, why does she need them? Yuwa shrugged her shoulders and continued to search up the bag of diamonds. Well, she looked around the mine until she saw something sparkling in the water. Apollo, look! Yuwa cried. She ran towards the water to pick up the bag. Could it be? Apollo asked, following his owner. It's gotta be, Yuwa joined in. After opening the bag, revealing to be a bag full of diamonds. This is it, she said. This is such a beautiful diamonds. I wish I could have some, Apollo said. Their entrance was the entrance by their mysterious shine. Come on, Yuwa said, grabbing the bag. Let's go bring it back to the woman. As Yuwa and Hiroto were heading up to the front of the mines, the gangster woman caused a rock slide with her magic. Yuwa gasped as she and Apollo ran back into the mines as fast as they could, escaping from the falling rocks. While back out in the mine, Cal removed her disguise after she blocked the entrance to the mines, snickering as she did so. Ha ha ha! You and that stupid little bird of hers just couldn't resist the plan, now could she? Cal snickered to herself. Meanwhile, in the tunnel of mines, Apollo and Yuwa were walking down the path of the mines. That was too close. That rock slide was a big, dangerous one, Yuwa sighed in relief. Yeah, and where that gangster woman was while we're coming up, Apollo asked. I have a feeling that she caused that rock slide only to kill us on purpose, Yuwa replied, feeling the anger boil in her system. I knew that she was going to backstab us. At least we're alive, Apollo said, agreeing with his companion. It's true, Apollo, Yuwa said. True, but still, why would she do that? I wish I could say I know. No, Apollo answered, but I can't. Yuwa just shook her head in annoyance and irritation. Just thinking about that witch makes me sick, she muttered under her breath. Well, at least we still got the bag of diamonds, Apollo stated. I wonder what we're gonna do with it. I don't know, Yuwa answered. Maybe we could take it to either the Mineral Museum or to Hiroto. I'm hoping we could take it to Hiroto, so he and his family wouldn't have to work in those dirty mines any longer, Apollo said quietly to himself. Then they could live in a mansion and live the best days in our lives as rich people. Earth to Apollo, Yuwa called. At first her pet bird did not listen, as he kept on daydreaming about his potential life in luxury, so that she raised her voice again to get his attention. Earth to Apollo! His daydream was interrupted by his owner at the time, with annoyance within him. Why did you do that? Apollo asked. I was having a nice daydream. Don't you remember our motto? Yuwa reminded him. We don't act like greedy people who want nothing more than fame and fortune. We serve the people that want things to be delivered. Oh, Apollo said. My bad. As soon as Yuan and Apollo found the way out of the mines, they saw what appears to be the ruins of Laputa, which Patsu and Shita know about. What is this? It looks like the ruins of Laputa. But why is it here? Yuan asked. Maybe it's because of a story my parents told me? A voice said from behind her. Yuan turned to see that Hiroto was behind her. Apollo squawked in surprise. Hiroto, how did you find me? Yuan asked. Well, I saw you in the alleyway, Hiroto explained. I even saw that it was Cal who tried to ambush you by trapping you in the mines in the process. I see, Yuan said. How did you find out it was Cal? Well, I found Cal while I was walking to the butcher shop for some meat, Hiroto stated. She disguised herself as a gangster woman to trick you and Apollo for some diamonds. That witch, Yuan growled. Cal never learns to mind her own business, Apollo muttered under his breath. Either way, Hiroto said, changing the subject. Are you and Apollo okay? Yeah, Yuan answered, nodding her head. She looked around the ruins and wondered where they were. What is this place? Yuan asked. This is called Laputa. It is the ruins that have taken from the fallen castle. My parents know about this story. From what I know, that these are the ruins of Laputa. The destruction of it killed my parents' enemy that tried to kill them years ago. He was Muska, Hiroto answered. He seems to be evil, so that rubble of Laputa killed him? Yuan asked. Most likely, yes. At least that's from what my dad said. What are you going to do with those diamonds? Hiroto asked. We're thinking of giving them to those in need in exchange for money. As Apollo and I want to help those in need, Yuan said. I think it's better than keeping them for myself or giving them to Cal. Sounds good, and Laputa was the castle that floated in the sky. It rose so high that we can't even see it anymore. It happened years ago, Hiroto said. My parents are still tell this story to this day, and it was way before they met your parents. I bet the castle was huge, even though you weren't there when your parents were young, Yuan commented. Yeah, that's why me and my mom and dad had fought Muska, Hiroto said. Muska? Yuan asked. Who is Muska? He was known as Kono Muska, Hiroto explained, but he wanted the crystal to gain access to Laputa, so he can conquer it. Yuan gasped at the realization, whereas Apollo squawked in affright. That's horrible, Yuan said. Yeah, Hiroto agreed, but my parents used a destruction spell to put a stop to Muska before his plan could be completed. Oh, Yuan said. Your parents were so smart. They sure were. I do have books on Laputa if you want to have a look at them at home, Hiroto said. Sure, that works well with me, Yuan nodded in reply, as the two headed off home. Meanwhile in Cal's lair, the witch was furious that her plan did not work. She looked tough through the crystal ball. Yuan and Hiroto, along with Apollo, were still alive. Cal had been having a meltdown in her lair, and her minions were hearing it all. She quietly growled, but gradually raised her voice through the gasp of breath. How? She muttered, her minions feeling nervous about her fear of being yelled at. What do you mean, Miss Cal? How did you all survive? Cal bellowed. How could this happen? I wish I could say that for both of us knew exactly, Miss Cal, another of the minions said. Maybe she took an alternative route, one of her minions gasped. But, Cal said, quivering with fury, my plan was to trap you all into one of those mines and let her die, she screamed, and shoved one of her wizard's books out of her desk in anger, shocking her minions. Is there anything we could do, Miss Cal? Another of her minions asked. Cal seemed to calm down a bit when she took a look at the minions with a smile. As a matter of fact, there is, she said. She mentioned them to come closer with the finger and softly said, Closer, my minions. Despite their nervousness, they inched every way closer to their boss. One of their minions got close enough, and Cal leaned towards them. What I want for you to do is, she quietly said, before raising her voice, to realize that you're idiots! You're a bunch of idiots! You know what happens if you were to anger the great and powerful and beautiful Cal? Do you? Her minions were scared of all the wrath of Cal, and what they did not want to know is they should anyway. So they shook their heads without saying another word. Seriously? Cal shouted. You seriously don't know what happens after all this time of you working with me? You should know by now! Cal's minions were so scared of their mistress's anger that they ran off to hide, leaving Cal alone in the lair. I need to calm down. Getting angry isn't going to get me anywhere. I'll figure out a plan that will distract Yua's lover boy from her, so my ultimate plan can come into full fruition. Cal then took a look at her book of spells, and had a sinister grin on her face. I will give her a poison apple. When she takes a bite out of it, she'll fall dead like a fly, and that will be the best plan I have. Cal cackled a laugh, knowing that her plan was gonna work this time.